Welcome everybody to the ITTF Liebherr 2018 World Team Table Tennis Championships, coming to you live from Halmstad Arena. Here's the schedule for the day. You just saw it. We're getting into the women's team finals with China versus Japan. Let the goosebumps rise. This is the time, the last team competition for the women in 2018. This will not happen again until 2020. And now the most undefeated women on the planet, the top-ranked team in the world, the #1 seeds. It is Team China. On the left, Ding Ning, Zhu Yuling in the middle, and led in the front by Liu Shiwen. The two 27-year-olds. Liu Shiwen and Ding Ning have been longtime champions of table tennis, but the last time that China lost in the World Championships in the teams event, they were both there in 2010. And the women who will be trying to create the same upset here, the Japanese women led by Mima Ito, Miu Hirano, and Kasumi Ishikawa in the back. Will be a very uphill battle, but the support, the flags, and the fans in the crowd will be cheering. I'm Adam Vabro, and joining me in the commentary booth, former world rank number 6, 7-time national champion, Jill Parker. Jill, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Adam. I'm looking forward to this final. Japan have won all their matches 3-0. China have dropped a couple. So I think it'll be a fantastic match today. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, me as well. That's also an interesting statistic, especially considering that Japan faced the United Korea, a very strong team. So some tough competition there, and here they are in great shape. As far as lineups go, well, we'll tell you about that in a minute. Here's the road to the final. In the last round, China beat Hong Kong China, but they did drop a match. Ding Ning was beaten 3-0 by Minnie Su. The hot pink hair and the surprise factor for Hong Kong China. On the other side, again, Japan beating United Korea, just Korea, in the semifinals. And here is the lineup. Liu Shiwen, currently world rank number 10, 27 years old, playing against Mima Ito, the 17-year-old world rank number 7. Mima Ito has the short pips on the backhand side, very versatile. Checking out the equipment here, Liu Shiwen studying it carefully. Really taking a long look at the opponent's sponge, the top sheet, the blade. Everything matters. I mean, a player who knows the game so well as Liu Shiwen, to have to really look at an opponent's racket for as long as she did, you have to imagine, like a fast operating computer is just calculating so many different, I'd say, factors in terms of what will come off of that racket, Jill.
Well, as we know, Ito, she plays very quick, and obviously we're having the short pimples on that one side. She'll get different pace on the ball with the reverse and the pimples. So I think Liu Shiwen is just taking her time to say, yeah, I know that rubber, I know how to play against it.
Yeah, and it's so important, the fine details from the specific brand, the specific model of that make of rubber plays differently than others. And Liu Shiwen, I mean, one of the finest players in the game, one of the fastest players in the game, is just so consistent on top of the table. Mima Ito, for me, has shown incredible potential from about the time she was 13. I felt like she took the world by storm. People started realizing this girl right here, she could be the future. She's so aggressive. They've got the new uniforms here. This is my first time seeing these. And she plays right on top of the bounce. Her best win that I remember witnessing was against Ding Ning That was in 2016 at the Olympic qualification tournament, where both Liu Shiwen and Ding Ning suffered losses, which of course were both upsets, as they usually are. And Mima Ito says, want to check out my racket? And Liu Shiwen's like, well, I've been there, but yeah, sure, let's do the formalities here. Now, typically, the Chinese forehand rubber is a bit harder, a bit tackier, a bit heavier. It's good for short play. The ball doesn't seem to go anywhere, but in terms of the loops, a bit of extra spin, carries some extra weight there. Coach Li Sun has been with the Chinese women for some time, a legend of the table tennis world in China. And Mika Baba, 7-time national champion, part of the Jill Parker Club, coaching for the Japanese women. So Liu Shiwen does not make a lot of mistakes. Head-to-head, these two have played once before, and Liu Shiwen won that match. Look at these credits here, career highlights. You can barely fit them in the screen there in that box. So many titles. She is the woman of the World Cup. Hasn't lost a match yet. Li Ho Ching, Sofia Polkanova, a lot of names there that we see climbing in the world rankings. On the Mima Ito side, we talked about her world ranking and age. Again, she plays a high-risk game, very versatile. For me, Jill, I think the receives, she can pull out some surprise placements, some strawberries. See Lily Zhang on that list, Sofia Polkanova as well. Choppers from Ukraine. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Jill?
Well, having watched her play several times at this championships, I mean, she's a very versatile player. She serves well, she receives well, but she takes the ball that early and that quick off the bounce. But great play on the parallel and on the diagonal, changes direction all the time. But then, you know, Liu Shiwen is exactly the same, so they could be both having the same tactics.
Right, you know, watching the Chinese men play against the Swedish men in the men's semifinals, I was just reminded of the work ethic of the Chinese players. From free play, they are so comfortable against the fastest, the spinniest, all the best shots in the world under pressure. So we will see. By world ranking, Mima Ito has the better world ranking right now, but that's just sort of catching up with the new system where Liu Shiwen was a little bit absent, waiting patiently, sizing up the opponent. First match is a best of 5, as they all will be. First player to win 3 games. Here we go. Quick firepower here, the backhand. You know, now Mima Ito, with the short pips on the backhand, also has a very hard and fast, flat forehand as well. Not so common to see that off inverted rubber. Haven't seen it yet in this match, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do soon. That's a lot of work for a point. Liu Shiwen just magically appears wide on the forehand corner and right back on the opposite. Look how quickly she covers that, twice in a row.
Yeah, both players playing very quickly, but they both like to play down the line as well. Got in quickly there, Ito. Any ball that she feels she can get into, she will.
Yeah, and I felt like it was a good push, too, to set it up. She didn't seem overly anxious for the attack. She played a half-long push to set it up. Very wise. It's a nice change of pace, but it didn't bother Liu Shiwen. She hangs in there. In terms of breaking rhythm, again, that's one of the best chances any player has against a top player in the world from China. Clever attempt for that inside-out forehand. Trying to keep it low to the net, just a little too low.
Next, 2-2.
Geez, the level of focus, that close-up on Mima Ito's eyes. Now this is going to be a tough exchange time and time again. Mima Ito has been playing with those short pips for as long as we've seen her on the international stage, and probably long before. But again, Liu Shiwen has a little bit more security with a more spinny shot in these rallies. This is a tough one. Again, from this camera angle, we just have the timing more to go on, but it looked like Mima Ito had a chance here. A ball that sat up a little bit from this camera angle. You can see ball was above the net by a few inches there. Good handful of centimeters up. Back edge of the table. That was really unusual. Liu Shiwen had the loudest cho before the point was over. I think she thought it was off, clearly. But she was already choing. That was so unusual. Normally you can stop your cho shortly after you realize you've lost the point. Took her a little while there to recoil the cho. Do you have a receipt for that cho? Can you prove that you bought that cho here? Sorry, we have a no refund policy. Liu Shiwen up 5-3 now with the serves back on her side. For me, it's so important, Jill, that Mima Ito gets in early to keep Liu Shiwen nervous.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's got to keep it tight, make it difficult for her to get in. With every opportunity, she's got to be looking to attack the ball.
Well, the first game is so crucial. Out of all the players on the Chinese team right now, Liu Shiwen, well, at least between Ding Ning and her, she hasn't been given as many opportunities in really high-pressure situations, like the Olympics, for example. And this is because she's suffered some losses. Feng Tianwei, Du Hoi Kem at the Olympic qualification tournament. I think Feng Tianwei is in the nightmares of Liu Shiwen.
6-3.
So if Mima Ito gets this first game, still has a little ways to go, trailing at about half the exactly half the score.
Net 6-3.
There we go. This is the banana split. Only Mima Ito does this with sometimes light underspin and straight side spin as well. Look at that. So you know the Chiquita where people do top and side spin, but Ito brushes under the ball on that shot. She's the only one I've seen do that, and she does it quite often. Oh, one after another and right on top of the bounce, Jill.
Absolutely superb. I mean, she set it up really well, opened up with that strong third ball, and then straight off the bounce on the diagonal.
When you talk about compact strokes, this is why it's so important, and Mima Ito just textbook compact there. Spinning forehand wide, creating these angles from the back of the table. 3 points in a row for Mima Ito. That shovel serve, perfect length. Liu Shiwen tries to keep it on the table for a second bounce, goes to the length to the corner, but it comes off, and Ito's there for that third ball attack. Good soft hands on the first one, but a little bit late to get in for the second touch shot, Ito. In terms of using a push wisely, Liu Shiwen very clever here to do two pushes. Or I guess to do the push after for the third ball, thinking that Ito wouldn't be expecting it short. She was right.
Yeah, because you would have thought she would have done a long, fast push just to change it, but very clever play.
Oh, killer shot down the line, right to the corner. Steps around and sneaks it past on that forehand. This is the high-risk play that Ito does so well, that makes her so dangerous. Look at that. The ball hadn't even come halfway up. And a long shovel serve right into the body. Ito takes the lead. She was down 3-6. Second serve here, a chance to go up 9-7. So subtle on the delivery of serve. Again, deception is the name of the game when you have that serve.
Yeah, it's great when she put that fast one in just to break it up.
Oh, two deadly forehands in a row. The first one was enough to finish most players in the world. But when you're playing the final, you don't want to be number two forever. This is the quality of play that is necessary to even compete with China.
Oh, that was a great serve. Strong third ball, fifth ball. And there we see how quick the footwork is.
Ito just hopping around right next to the back of the table, up by 2 on the receive now. Oh, good parallel down the line, but recovered. Liu Shiwen floats over to the ball and brings it back aggressively. is a big point here for Ito. I mean, for both players, of course. But again, Liu Shiwen, the favorite. Oh, completely handcuffed, caught in indecision. Fast, long serve to the middle. Mila Ito not going for an aggressive shot, but sort of a fanned backhand. Even if that comes down, I guess the best thing I have to say about it is it'd be an awkward ball. It's not especially fast. Liu Shiwen was
just caught her right out of position, didn't she?
Perfect serve from Liu Shiwen. Oh, beautiful pattern, 2 to the backhand corner behind the momentum. A bold serve, and every shot after was bold as well. Mima Ito has earned a game point. She has her serve. Long serve. Half long, Mima Ito takes it. A safer serve, tight on the third ball attack. And look at this. The 17-year-old Mima Ito is up 1-0 against Liu Shiwen in the first game of the first match of the women's team finals. Stay right here for game number 2. Back for game number 2 of the women's team final, Japan versus China. Japan in yellow, Mima Ito, the first up to bat for Japan. She's leading 1-0. Again, it's a best of 5, so that first game even more crucial.
Let's love all.
Interesting fun fact for you, Japan left their top player, Kasumi Ishikawa, world rank number 3, for only 1 singles in this team tie. Inside out forehand to follow, a little apology there. Strong bench, Hina Hayata, Miyu Nagasaki. Not quite as strong as the Chinese bench. Either way, it's only going to come down to 3 players on each side today.
Both these players in this tournament haven't lost yet, so one of them's got to be the winner and one's got to be the loser here.
Yeah, that flawless record will only exist for half of the players on the table after this match. Oh, incredible angle. Ito can't believe she missed the shot. Not easy, but she had the whole table open. She worked so hard to save the ball before. Ju Ling and Wang Manyu on their feet. What a save and an angle here. Yeah, you can understand the frustration.
Yeah, having got to that ball, really stretched out.
Look how fast that was. This, again, is some type of crazy banana. It's tough to read exactly. Watch. Straight side spin fast. When you get Liu Shiwen chopping, essentially an attack, you know you've done something right. A little bit off the top of the net, but Liu Shiwen back within 1. Again, Ito's starting this game strong. Imagine if she had made that backhand to the open table. I mean, the score right now could be quite one-sided. If Ito gets a 2-0 lead, Liu Shiwen, you know, as solid of a player as she is, the question is, under pressure, how does she perform? This one's left up too high. High and shallow, Liu Shiwen there to clean up, ties up the score. No, it's interesting watching in terms of the teams that are chosen, Jill. We imagine the coaches have really done their homework. Head-to-head, Kasumi Ishikawa has played 11 times with Ding Ning and never once won. With Liu Shiwen, 9 times and never once won. So I think that's a good reason to say, you know what? Let's put her in the 3rd spot. Let's give the young ones the surprise factor a chance. After all, Mima Ito's beaten Ding Ning before. And, you know, Miu Hirano's beaten Ding Ning before. There's a possibility for some wins here.
Yeah, they'd have studied it extensively, especially, you know, final of the World Championships. They'll have all that information at the ready. Obviously, video analysis, everything.
Yeah, these are the most 2 well-prepared, the most 2 well-equipped teams. From cameramen, physiotherapists, doctors, everything they need. Nice recovery here. Liu Shiwen from down comes back into the lead now. Mima Ito's patterns. Again, she's been quite unpredictable, quite aggressive. Solid over the table. While she can make that shot with those short pimps on the backhand side, still just a little bit less rotation, especially from that low, so it's not quite as secure as Liu Shiwen should be. Excellent work. Liu Shiwen hangs in there to recover the net. Very focused right now. In terms of nerves, a score like this after being down by quite a bit from the start will definitely loosen up Liu Shiwen, encourage her to keep playing her game. Nothing like a bit of positive reinforcement from the scoreboard to help you out.
I always think with Liu Shiwen, she's obviously won the World Cup 4 times, runner-up in the Worlds twice, and she's won so many ITTF World Tour, but she's missed out on the big one, like the Olympics and the World Championships.
This shot right here, I just can't believe how hard Mima Ito hit that. The serve sits up just a little bit, and it's enough for her to just crush it. And you're right, you know, in terms of the biggest titles, Liu Shiwen isn't always given the privilege of representing the country when it counts so much. To win that many World Cups and all the titles that she's collected, it's so interesting how players would trade. Out of all my World Cups, I'd give you 3 of those. I'd give you all of them for an Olympic gold medal in singles. But she hasn't yet competed. Chinese fans in the crowd there with flags in hand. Good pressure from Ito.
Yeah, steps in well there. Punch that backhand with the pimples. Very flat, great angle.
Now, Liu Shiwen's been challenged yesterday by Hong Kong, China in the semifinals. Some close matches. I think it was Du Hoi Kem who took her to the 5th. Oh, look at this push. It's a dart with side spin. And the timeout now for Liu Shiwen. Out of all the different names for shots that have been created because of these new shots, Mima Ito's going to force some new vocabulary again. I mean, there's a chop block, but that was like an attack on the receive with the same spin. That was a very interesting timeout, just in terms of the dynamics of who was doing the speaking. You know, the respect for the coach on the Chinese national team is just incredible. And Zhu Yuling, relatively young, 23 years old, 4 years younger than Liu Shiwen, spent a good portion of that time talking, standing next to Li Sun.
And they took the whole 1 minute as well.
A lot of talk about
unusual.
Yeah, that backhand to backhand rally. It looked like they were telling her, relax, stay calm, don't rush it. Big point here right out of the timeout. It's tough not to rush when you've got Mima Ito on the other side, though, putting on these fast shots. If she can serve deep to the backhand like she did here, get a slightly slower spinny shot, she's going to be a little bit more comfortable to counter. But now the serve's back on the side of Mima Ito. After that angle was so wide. Ito making the big shots, but it takes many here. Watch this. One right on the line, exiting the side of the table. Completely understand the emotions of Ito. 3 game points for Liu Shiwen. Ooh, tomahawk chop block on the forehand side. You know, I talk about the versatility of Mima Ito, but right now her level of creativity is just through the roof. I mean, even Koki Niwa doesn't pull out this many side spin shots in so few points, not in the big ones. Don't know if that was an overstatement, but Mima Ito clearly playing fearlessly, and she saves a game point. 2 more for Liu Shiwen. Also fearless here, goes for the big forehand flip kill. Had that gone in, it would have added a lot of pressure, but Liu Shiwen takes the game, 11 points to 8. We're tied up at 1 game apiece. We'll see who takes the lead. Game number 3 coming up right after this.
We now have 1 all in the games and are getting ready for the third.
非常好啊！你还是站上稳，你基本上控制整个场上节奏。他一压你那个，你假如你下一球就拼命往这大脚撑。
我现在一个就是第一是上旋不能发攻，我就正常范围内的。
哎，对。
接发球点太慢了，不能各个都慢搓。我这边有挑搓，越打越自己。
両サイドの方がいい。
行くならファースト。
レシーブが全部偏って相手に読まれないように。サーブは3点気をつけて。
你没有那个看你，还是看你动啊！只要有机会一定变现，有机会就变啊！只要站住的时候。
There's Ding Ning, the Queen of Hearts in the practice hall, the VIP practice arena right now. Getting warmed up. She is on second. She'll be playing against the Hurricane, Miu Hirano. So we will see. Again, an overwhelming record for Ding Ning, but Miu Hirano relatively recently has beaten Ding Ning. So back for game number 3, Liu Shiwen, the bit of momentum and the serve. This is incredible. Really, Liu Shiwen is handling some of the most deadly shots from Ito. Just manages to reach out, get the racket there. Recovers the net ball first. Right at the baseline of the table. 2 shots in a row. To even get those back on the table is crazy, but she does it with perfect placement. You know, Ito's bringing a very high-level game right now. It's a tall order, but Liu Shiwen is just upping it by a bit. It's really all that's necessary to be stronger than the opponent in every aspect of the game. So it's not quite the same effect. Liu Shiwen, when she gets that opening, even behind the table here, she blocks one, slightly softer to the middle, a little bit shallow. Liu Shiwen closes the racket, comes inside the ball. Quite unpredictable, Jill.
Yeah, she's changing the pace, direction. That slow spinny one she puts in.
There's that parallel that we love so much, but Liu Shiwen just seems to have a map to the future here. She just seems to know where the ball's going.
Yeah, anticipation there was superb. She stepped in.
It's a fine combination of not leaving early, knowing where to look at the opponent, and then moving quickly at the last moment. Nice lift here. Ito has caused some trouble with these different backhand receives.
She's got great variation, hasn't she, on receive?
Oh, yeah.
Of serve. Nice touch play. This nice little spinny one she does with her wrist.
second time I can recall. Actually, Ito had one that went in early last game quite similarly. Let's see how high this sits. Not very high, just barely above the net, and she tries to play it to the short side of the table. I mean, that's an incredibly low percentage shot, but for Ito, it's higher, significantly higher than most. Liu Shiwen fan there covering the face with the Liu Shiwen poster. The fangirl culture. So score-wise, Liu Shiwen has done nothing to slow down her dominance. Game number 2, quite tight. Ooh. Let's see one more time here. Ah! Right in the cheek.
Nice little slow spinny one again.
That's so difficult. The ball was left awkwardly out in front of Liu Shiwen. I think 9 players out of 10 in the world would have so much trouble with this. Look at that. She barely used anything. She was leaning forward like she was on a ski jump and just used her wrist to spin it up.
And it was so low below the table. She picked that up well.
Oh my goodness, Mima Ito! Passed the test this time. Liu Shiwen gets so many of these back, just rockets back and forth. There was Jun Mizutani's wife in the crowd watching and cheering. Corner to corner, coast to coast. Ito cannot let the ball rise for a moment because who will be there? Liu Shiwen. Just magically appearing, poof, corner to corner.
Next, 7-2.
I like the way Liu Shiwen looks over and says, right? She held her hand up before the shot was ever played. Just wants to make sure that everything is copacetic. The feelings are mutual on the table, right? Let service. Okay, here we go. Oh, a bit off the top of the net, but a good save from Ito as she backed off the table. In terms of being behind the table, the setup of Mima Ito, she just can't get too far back. Anything that comes to her backhand, really, she's sort of helpless from behind the table. Ooh. Takes this one a little bit on the come down. That person looks like Shredder from the Ninja Turtles. I don't know if you're familiar with that character, but wow. Coolest fan of the day so far. We'll see if the fans get any better in their wardrobe. Touch in near the net, trouble as well. These are the tight points, the little ones that really, really matter because the score right now, you know, every point counts, but it's got to be such a complete game out here.
9-3.
Is this nerve? I mean, we see Ito missing some shots that she's been making pretty consistently throughout.
Change of service there. Just pulling a little bit faster. Catching her out right into the middle of the table.
Ooh, service error. Still 6 game points left for a 2-1 lead. We've seen crazier things. Comeback-wise, this would be pretty crazy, though. Good cover of the middle and then the wide forehand. Ito's been strong on the wide forehand. The middle's a tougher shot. Ooh, look at that genuine excitement. Again, the Chinese fans in the crowd outweighing the fans. Outnumbering, I should say. Equally slim as the Japanese fans. 5 game points left to Liu Shiwen on the receive. Oh, makes the big one. And Liu Shiwen brings it right back with the counter. 11-5, the most decisive game yet. And Liu Shiwen is up 2-1 over Mima Ito. We'll see what happens. Game number 4 coming up right after this.
找这个路子了啊，就坚定这个，完了一定要让他，你一定有接发球，一定有长短，有快慢，有的时候捅他一个，有的时候飘他一个，是吧？完了有时候你打得好的时候，你还该掰断你还是掰断，完了有的在看哎怎么舒服怎么接这种，不要刻意用球啊。
和那狗
对，
那你2个球都准备有一个长的就可以。
对，先准备长的，那你就先准备长的啊，先准备长的没关系。完了以后上去重心上去都可以，重心上去搁一个这种球啊。完了以后他如果是他死在老想用这个，你这球一定当成削球，给你先拉一下，一定要拉，一定拉，绝对不能再搓着一球。
怕高中反过来，没关系，这个球没事，这个球他出来这球
你不见得发死力了，对，
他可以一局最多2个，你往心里去给他出这种球没关系。
Back for game number 4, Mima Ito's last chance in the sense that she has to win this game to stay in the match. Again, the upset in the first match would be huge for the Japanese women. Oh, brilliant! Off a net ball to turn the corner and just completely choke it down the line. Smothers it. Sits up a little bit for sure, but plays the risky shot like it's no problem, sees the opening and goes for it.
Yeah, step round really quickly and touch that net.
Ooh, awkward ball, tripping up in the backcourt, wants to make sure her ankles are fine. I realize choking the ball sounds like a weird term because choke often used for missing an opportunity, a big one, but second point here, a bit of a break for Mima Ito. Although rewarded for her creativity in terms of leaving awkward balls up on the table. This is a pattern that Mima Ito has used a few times. One deep to the backhand corner with the backhand and the follow-up with the forehand. Typically a good one. I feel like Liu Shiwen's right there waiting, though. It's tough to fool Liu Shiwen.
Great serve there, following. Long shovel serve. She steps in with that strong third ball.
Oh, it's us, it's us. The one in blue got just warned a little bit too late. Yeah, I feel like the firepower right now with Liu Shiwen from the chos and everything else, she's just getting more confident, more comfortable. For Ito, what do you think it's going to take for Ito, Jill?
Well, I just felt a couple of times she snatches at the ball. You know, she's playing it hard, but sometimes perhaps she doesn't need to hit it quite so hard. And then because she has making the errors, so... But, I mean, Liu Shiwen, I mean, she hasn't missed a lot, has she? She's, you know, stepped up a gear, if anything.
Yeah, I'm always curious to hear what the exact translations are in moments like this, because when a player is playing someone else who seems to be so flawless, virtually flawless, it just makes it tougher. Obviously, Liu Shiwen can lose. It's just a question of how do you find the weaknesses, what combinations. For me, as you mentioned, some of the spinnier ones that are a little bit slower, Mima Ito has a good spinny backhand despite using short pivots. She still grips the ball. And I think in combination, right, a slow spinny one and then a step around flat hit with the forehand, maybe another one right to the middle of the body, but Liu Shiwen is probably the most middleless player in the world, really. A lot of players work hard to cover that middle and make it very difficult to find, but don't know if Liu Shiwen has a middle. It's like she never crosses over. So good in the backhand-to-backhand exchange here. And the third ball here, quite aggressive. Ooh, long kick serve, a little bit more to the elbow here, middle of the table. Watch the placement one more time. And this one looked slightly out of the comfort zone. I hesitate to dare say to Liu Shiwen's middle because that would imply that she has one, and I'm not ready to do that yet.
But she is going to get caught out sometime.
That's right. Oh, no. Ito doesn't like it. Close. Is that not the most adorable thing ever? Seriously, I want one.
A little cutie.
Does it come with the flag? Do they come in different colors? Do they have different outfits placement here again on the middle of the table, keeping Liu Shiwen just a little bit behind. What are you thinking, Jill?
I think she put a slower one in there as well. Look at it here.
That's the one, just a little bit of side spin on it, using the wrist, keeping it back. Slightly bending ball. Here's the turn of the corner, stretching it right down the line. This is sort of what I had imagined. It just feels so risky because it leaves open the whole table, and Liu Shiwen has made this many times wide back the other way. The serves of Ito have been so effective. Look at this. She sits up now by a 2-point lead. You know, I've seen her practicing high toss serves and all sorts of other things in the practice hall, but her shovel serve and the variation on it right now is quite dangerous.
Great backhands and forehands there by Liu Shiwen. Taking it very early.
Well, that's some incredible exchanges here. I feel like Liu Shiwen has a really magical way to just sort of stay in position. Here's a look at her footwork. But even when she's a little bit out of position, she can still close the racket on the backhand side, bring the ball back into play right at the baseline of the table. Oh, burn! Took the chance. It was a bit of a gamble to leave the door open like that. It's going for a walk around the backhand corner. I'll be back in about 1 second. Too late.
Yeah, she committed herself, but it wasn't quite strong enough. Left the table wide open.
To hit it that hard and feel like it's not strong enough is between surprise factor, placement, and all the power that Ito has. I mean, there are just so many things that have to go right to get that point against Liu Shiwen. There's a little bit of spin on the backhand here. You know, she really does use that wrist well. We talked about the variety in the game of Ito, but on the backhand, she makes that rubber look so versatile. Yes, it probably is, but again, work. That's a steady loop from short pips. Back in front by one here, second serve. Ooh, she's used her serve so well. Shovel serve short to the forehand now. I mean, it's all the same delivery. Japanese staff there. Nima Ito's coach, Matsu, her mom right next to him. In the bright hoodie there. Good place where Liu Shiwen finds the middle. On the other side, the fans as well, rooting on the Chinese women, Liu Shiwen.
Serve there, just to break it up.
Good placement again. That second bounce on the long serve, so crucial, right near the baseline. I wonder what age Liu Shiwen started playing. For Nima Ito, I think it was 3. Imagine for Liu Shiwen it was closer to 5, 6. Closes out the angle, not again. It will not happen again after all that work. Liu Shiwen chases down everything, but that last one would have needed a dive head first from Liu Shiwen. And the flags come out once again. Liu Shiwen turned from the middle of the table. Looks back like, don't do that again. Okay, you got it this time, but not again. I'm not going to let you get in that position. 1 point lead for Ito, looking to take this to the decider. Long serve in the third ball attack earns her 2 game points. This is a solid chance to put some pressure back on a player that Ito really needs to be nervous right now. That's the flat hit we talked about before the match from an inverted side of the racket. Not so many players will play it with such little spin so fast. 2 game points for Ito on the receive. Oh, she does it! is the one! That serve barely even comes up, give it a chance. Ito crushes it and sends it to a fifth and deciding game, the first match of the day. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and get ready. The decider coming up right after this.
その後の短いサーブも変化が出てくるからコンビネーションうまくで今みたいに準備して次のボール必ず返ってくるからそしたら糸を取れるよなんかあるレシーブそれから分かってた時単調にならないで糸のいいところ抜きになって
起跑线，你一定要去拼了，把球打出来。然后技战术没有那么多技战术，这会儿就打人了，所以你一定要坚定，不管你打哪个技术，一定要坚定，坚定去出手就可以，哪个都是对的啊。見てるんやるならちょっとキュンって言った方がいい。
Back for game number 5, Mima Ito playing some risky receives. She's about 50-50 on that kill shot on the step around, but it pays off to take 11-8 to take game number 4 at that score. Another gutsy receive. Ito's made a pretty high percentage of them so far. Lushuin starting strong here. Receive with the backhand as well. No step around from Ito. In terms of bold serves, Jill, I mean, that was really deep into the backhand side, very fast. So for Ito to be so brave with the short pips as well, I mean, she's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, both players are serving well and different direction, different spin. But they seem to like to put in that fast one serve to get the rallies going.
Yeah, I think this match has a greater percentage of long serves than any professional match I can recall seeing. Ooh, the flip. Just fast enough and wide enough to cause trouble. Didn't seem especially fast. Watch one more time. Good placement here. Ito makes this shot a lot. We've seen her do it so far in the game, in this match.
Well, didn't she, with that backhand?
I'm trying to remember timeout situations now. In terms of timeouts, this is a score where you'd normally see one. Ito did come back in the last game from down a bit. I love that let serve receive. Back down into the table. I'll serve your serve. Catches her with the racket head straight up.
Longer serve again. He opens up. Strong third ball.
So now they're going to switch sides of the table, so each player has an equal amount of playing time on each half of the table. Still a ways to go here. We'll see. Ito has her work cut out for her.
Well, they both had their time out, so we won't be seeing them now.
Well, I've got to go for it. Gets down near the net. Watch this one more time. Yoink. Slap shot right back. Punishment. Lushuin hung out to dry after a break like this. Oh, it hurts my heart. This is just such a good shot from Ito. Really a long way to go, but that could give her some momentum here. Quickly turned right back. No matter what happens, no matter the outcome, if this goes deuce in the fifth, the level of excitement, the atmosphere in Halmstad Arena would just be through the roof. A 4-point lead now. Lushuin recovers quickly after that crazy point off the top of the net. Good awkward ball, a little bit of side spin. Liu Shiwen left with her back up a little bit, standing up straight, loops it out. That is atypical for her. A bit more of a drive, typically, unless she gets a long push. On fire on those backhands.
Yes, I think she thought that was coming as a long serve. You could see she was ready for it.
Good movement here. Picking the placement again. Not always going for wide corners. Middle of the table. Moving Liu Shiwen around. Ganbare, the crowd says, and the Chinese fans come right back with their Liu Shiwen Jiao. Caught the top of the net, that last shot. But some of these matches have been so important. We've seen many players that haven't apologized immediately. Of course, I could be wrong. We'll see. But Ito again from behind the table. Yeah, it looked like a little bit. So tough with those pips on the backhand side when you're way back behind the table. And a little net right back. Really, all shots are being played so low. Some real risks being taken here, Jill.
Yeah, but she played that well, didn't she? Straight down the line. Well-placed ball there.
So from down 1-5, the percentages of points, the way things have been going, Mima Ito could end up getting to 11 first. We'll see. It should be tight. Experience under pressure. Oh, forehand flip kill. The big one, Ito gets in. You know, when you think of stature in table tennis and the pros and cons, Mima Ito is so strong in that forehand flick. I mean, and she's quite small. Both of these players are smaller than the average height of their team by a bit. This was a solid receive. She got the opening attack. Good touch again right off the bounce. Let's watch Ito. Gentle. Takes the ball so early, but this one just up and out. I mean, that's the pressure to keep it at the baseline, right? And just living on the edge. Oh, it was there. That serve, that fast, long serve, I think Ito's been playing an incredibly solid game. This is just how strong Liu Shiwen is. You can be playing 98% and it's not enough sometimes. Beautiful.
Brilliant there by Ito.
Yeah, the placement was just perfect on that shot too. Nice parallel. One into the more central part.
Yeah, good placement round the table.
So a 2-point lead. Crucial point here. The pressure changes so much for Liu Shiwen if she does not win this point. The wide one. Ito within one. She takes one more point. She has two serves at 9-9 in the fifth. And her serves, I mean, I don't have perfect statistics on this, but in real time, if I had to guess, Ito has won a high percentage of her points on her serve. So that's how crucial this receive will be. Remember, she went for broke at the end of last game. She's used the backhand early in this game the same way. Very close. That counter was tough. Ito got jammed, handcuffed, steps around for the spinny receive.
Yeah, popped it up.
Sat
Just
up.
a little too high, sat up.
Yeah, really quite a bit, and still was almost able to counter it back, but into the net. Now 2 match points for Liu Shiwen. One down, one to go. We saw it. Ito was down 8-10 in a match recently. One of our earlier matches, Jill. She saved 2 match points and said didn't feel like she was under pressure. It's all the same, 0-0. A point is a point. If it's a point, I want to win it. End of story.
Yeah, she looks cool as a cucumber.
A cucumber in the fridge. Cool she is. Look at this, chilling. Deuce in the fifth saves 2 match points. And the serve will go back to Liu Shiwen. Again, Mima Ito's percentage is on her serve. She set it up so well. When you come in with the table tennis ball necklace, that says I want China to win. Carrying the flag and all. Japanese fans as well. The spinning one! Baseline! 3 in a row for Ito. She has earned match points. Again, Ito has never beaten Liu Shiwen on the world tour. She's 0-1. Chinese fans watch anxiously. And just the same with a bit more hope from the Japanese fans. Ito has the serve. This has been a big advantage for her. Ito does it! Ito takes it! Japan leading 1-0 over China. Who would have thought? Unbelievable performance from the 17-year-old Mima Ito. Job done. You show up for work. It seems like it's going to be a terrible day when you're playing the Chinese national team. And Ito takes it after saving 2 match points. Tears of joy starting to run. And the flags of Japan are higher than the flags of China right now in the crowd. A tough loss for Liu Shiwen. This is the pressure we talked about, Jill.
Yeah, and she handles the pressure so well. I mean, she looks so cool, goes for her shots. Absolutely brilliant.
There are 10 years of experience between these two players. Liu Shiwen is one of the most unbeaten players in the world. Just incredible to watch. And Mima Ito finally crosses the finish line in an absolute epic match here. It's a best of 5, but it felt like a marathon. Wow. 17 years old, her future ahead of her, and she sets up Japan. Still a long, long way to go on paper. Every single one of these matches would favor China. Look at this score. So coming up next will be the Queen of Hearts, 27-year-old Ding Ning, the Olympic gold medalist of Brazil and silver medalist of 2012 of London, playing against Mew, the Hurricane Hirano. So we're going to have an interview down on court with 17-year-old Mima Ito after that incredible win right now live.
Hi Mima, congratulations on the winning. You took a timeout and then it seemed like you came back after then you won. So was that tactically the most important time in your match?
でリードされてタイムアウトまたリードされてタイムアウトの後で流れが変わりました。そういうことで変わりましたというでしょうね。はい、どういうことをしましたか。はい、
自分からとにかく攻めていくことを意識してやってました。
After the timeout, I was just thinking what I can do, and I think those things that I'm good at, and then I concentrated on that, and then it changed.
And you played in an offensive way, taking a lot of risks. Is that what's your tactic against Liu Shiwen?
だからそういうもう少しそのディフェンシブにして、そしてあとはアタックしてましたけど、そういう作戦でしたか？
わかんない。もう一回。
はい、もう一回。だから攻めるというそういうことをしましたけれども、その最後まででしょうね。
はい、最後まで自分の卓球をして攻めるっていうことを意識してやりました。
So I was just playing attacking, trying to attack to play my own way of attacking, and that's what's really the success.
Thank you.
Well, the very aggressive play from 17-year-old Mima Ito definitely paid off. And that never giving up attitude, that undying fight, managed to come back, saving 2 match points. 4 points in a row to steal the match. That is Liu Shiwen's first World Championships, first World Team Championships loss since 2010, where they lost against Singapore, Feng Tianwei. So now we move on to the second match. It's world rank number 11 currently. Ding Ning has been a little bit out of the picture on the world tour versus 17-year-old world rank number 6 Miu Hirano, the 2017 Asian Championships champion, or the Asian champion, I should say. About to get started. I'm Adam Bobrow. With me, Jill Parker. Jill, how you feeling for this?
Having watched Ding Ning yesterday lose, anything could happen, couldn't it?
Absolutely. Now, Ding Ning sort of has the fight of the tiger here, the eye of the tiger as well. Yesterday's loss was against Minnie Su of Hong Kong, China. A 3-0 victory for Minnie Su. Although Ding Ning did come back in the clutch and win her match after that. A little bit of a leg injury in the practice hall. Strong angles, Ding Ning right now on top of the bounce. She has the left-handed advantage. Now, a lot of people remember Miu Hirano in the Asian Championships saving many match points against Ding Ning to win the match in the 5th. But head-to-head, they've played 8 times, and Miu Hirano has only won 1 of those 8.
Sure.
Yeah, and that was 2017 at the Asian Championships. I think the last time they played China Open, Ding Ning won 4-1.
I just got chills starting to think about what if this goes into the 3rd match and Japan is up 2-0. Just thinking about still how much work needs to be done. So when she won the Asian Championships, Miu Hirano was probably the most aggressive player I've ever seen. I mean, really